Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another live stream at China Admissions. We are live on Instagram and on YouTube as usual. So, if you would like to watch this or recommend it to someone, if you'd like to watch it later, it will be saved on our Instagram and on our YouTube channel. And all of our previous live streams have been saved on our Instagram and YouTube channel as well. So, it's very easy to find. If you have any questions or any topics that you want questions answered on, we've covered so many different topics. We've covered Chinese language programs, documents needed to prepare, deadlines, scholarships, housing, common mistakes made by students when applying. We have so many previous live streams with a lot of very useful information. So you can definitely check that out on our Instagram and YouTube channel to see what other types of live streams we've had. The topic of today's live stream is if you want to apply for the Chinese language program for the spring intake of 2024. So the spring intake is around the end of February, beginning of March. So it's also called the March intake. And while it's not the biggest intake. The biggest intake is the September intake. It is still very popular for Chinese language students, and especially for some students that come from the Southern Hemisphere. So, like me, I grew up in South Africa, and in South Africa, our school year ends at the end of December. So I was going to enroll in a degree program in September, but I had a semester where I didn't have anything to do. So I decided to do a Chinese language program to fill that gap. So today we're going to be going over Chinese language programs for the 2024 intake, and you guys can already apply now. So if you are interested in applying for the 2024 intake for a Chinese language program, those are currently available on our website. So you can go to chinaadmissions.com and check out the different programs that are available and which ones suit you. On our website, you can find all the available information about the programs, the tuition fees, the application process, the application documents, the deadlines, everything is there. So you'll be able to find that there. If you have any questions, you can always email us to ask us about that. So I'm quickly going to read the different universities that have a spring intake program available for the Chinese language program, since we've been getting a lot of emails asking about it. So let me quickly just go over it here. Okay, so first we have from the Beijing Institute of Technology, BIT. They have a Chinese language program. The deadline is in December. Then we also have from Wuhan University, we have the Chinese language program with a deadline in January. Beijing Film Academy has a Chinese language program that also has a deadline in January. University of International Business and Economics in Beijing, UIBE. They also have one which has a deadline in December. East China University of Science and Technology, which is in Shanghai, they have a deadline in February. Central China Normal University in Wuhan has one that has a deadline in December. Tianjin University has their deadline in December. And Dongbei University of Finance and Economics in Dalian has theirs in June. We actually have so many. There are quite a lot, but as you can see, there are so many that are already available, so it's really easy to start your application already to get started. Yes, and the general requirements that you're going to need, it's different depending on the program that you're applying for, but in general, Chinese language programs don't require as many documents as with other programs. So I'm going to have the website in front of me here. So I'm going to just randomly click on one of them. So let's take a look at Beijing Institute of Technology's Chinese language program. Their deadline is in December. So you need to have a guardian's authorization letter. So this is only if you are under 18 years old. If you are over 18, you don't need it. You also need the BIT, or the Beijing Institute of Technology's International Student Personal Statement letter. You need a certificate from your financial guarantor, a no criminal record certificate, medical examination form, your highest academic transcript, so your high school graduation transcript, your graduation certificate, and then also your photograph and passport copy. Okay, so we've also done a previous live stream going over exactly how to prepare these documents, and it's going to be very similar to the other Chinese language programs that are available. In general, the biggest difference between before COVID and applying for a Chinese language program after COVID is that most of the universities require you to do your medical examination form before you go to China. This actually does make your life a lot easier because in your first week of being in China, you're doing a lot of different paperwork and registering with the police and sorting out your accommodation and moving in and starting university and getting your textbooks. And it's a whole process, and you're getting a SIM card and a bank card and then everything. And it can be very overwhelming. Now, adding on to that, that if you have to do it in China, the medical examination, you need to go to the hospital that has been designated to you. You have to get there yourself, and you have to go through testing. And it's all done in Chinese. It's quite intensive. So you do a urine test, you do a blood test, they do X-ray, they do an ECG for your heart, and a couple of other things, but that is basically what they do. And it can be quite stressful to get all of that done all in the same week that you're trying to get all your other documents done. So it's actually much more of a relief to do that in your home country before you go to China. So then you don't have to do that over there. If you guys have any questions about applying for a Chinese language program and the deadlines and stuff like that, please do comment here on the live stream, and I'll get to them. So if you're interested in a specific major for a bachelor's or master's or PhD, or even a non-degree program, we do recommend to just go onto the China Admissions website and to look that up. If it isn't there, it's typically not very easy to apply for it, or it might not be available at all for the university. So just keep this in mind, that not all the programs are always going to be available, especially in an English taught format. So those are typically the most commonly taught subjects, or the most commonly applied to subjects. It's much easier to find those taught in English, like engineering and medicine. Let's see on Instagram. We've got some questions here. Not really. So if you have any, you can leave them below. Yes, so you guys can start the application process now already. The deadlines, as you have heard from earlier, are generally in December, January, and February, but I would say it would be best to get your documents done as soon as possible. So if you want to apply now, you're very certain you're going to do a Chinese language program next year in the spring intake, I would recommend to choose the programs that you're interested in and start the application process. You can get all your documents together, and once all your documents are submitted and we've checked them over, then you can sorry. So once you've done that, once they've been checked over and approved, then we can submit them to the university, and you have a much higher chance of being accepted. And then also you'll be able to get an acceptance much earlier as well, so you can get ready much faster. So also, even though it seems like July is very far away, it's almost August now. August is very far away from December. Time really does fly, especially when it comes to the applications. So we really, really discourage you from applying in the final month or a couple of weeks before the application deadline. We would recommend you do that much further in advance. So I have a question here from AJ asking if they need 2 years of experience or master's degree to get a job in China after graduation. So this depends on which visa you want to apply for and which company you want to work for. We don't handle any kind of visa issues, so we can give you basic information from personal experience and students' experiences on getting a student visa, but applying for a work visa, we really can't help that much. So we'd recommend talking to someone that has applied for a work visa and that has more experience in that and can give you a definite answer, or checking with your local Chinese embassy or Chinese visa application center to see what the exact requirements are that you need for that. Great. And then if there are any students that are wanting to maybe do online Chinese classes, we have a very good course with China with BLCU, Beijing Language and Culture University's online education college. So they have great courses there, great teachers, and it's very affordable. So they have 12-week programs, or you can do one-on-one programs. They have a couple of different programs. We've gone over this several times in different events with them, but you can find this on our website as well. So this is all online, and the classes are done once a week, and then you get homework as well, and that's for the 12-week class. And it really does help you prepare. So maybe you've been accepted for the September intake and you would like to brush up on your Chinese, you can definitely do that and get a couple of one-on-one classes to prepare yourself, to help yourself for settling in China. We definitely recommend not having an absolute zero level of Chinese, having some level of Chinese and being able to communicate and, go to the supermarket, go to the pharmacy, that kind of thing will definitely help you a lot. Great. And then we have a couple of questions about scholarships as well. So if you have questions about scholarships, we've actually done quite a couple of live streams going over scholarships and videos going over scholarships. And we have actually done tutorials on how to apply for the CSC scholarship as well. So we don't assist with scholarship applications, but we've given out a lot of information on how you can do this yourself. So it's quite easy. You can just check on our YouTube channel to see how to do it. People sometimes get confused and think that we are the CSC Council and asking about their CSC results, their scholarship results. We have no affiliation with that, so we can't give you any information about that. We would recommend contacting the CSC Council, anyone that works with the CSC scholarship for that, but we don't have any affiliation with scholarships and we can't give you information on the results or when the results will come out. Any other questions, you can always leave them down below and we can get to them briefly. So yes, we also have a couple of different live streams that go over the documents and how to apply for them. So also check that out before you start applying for your documents. It's not a very long video, but it does give you quite in-depth information about how to prepare most of the documents. Someone has asked if the CSC and Silk and Rhodes scholarships are different. I think they're different. I'm not exactly sure. Again, we don't have any affiliation with scholarships. We've given out some information on scholarships, so you can check out our videos on that. But we are by no means scholarship experts or know exactly everything about all the scholarships. We don't assist with scholarship applications, so you'll have to check that out by yourself as well. Great. So to give a bit of a recap, if you're interested in applying for a Chinese language program for the spring intake or applying for an online Chinese program, we have those currently available. So you can start that application process on the Okay, so I have another question over there. But you can apply on the China Admissions website, and you will be asked to create a China Admissions portal. So an online ID through China Admissions and upload your documents there. And then we will check them out and review them. Also, you have to pay the application fee, which is not a fee that we take any fee of, only if there is a service fee involved for non-partner universities or you have a service, you've booked a service package. Otherwise, the registration fee it's just the application fee for the university. And then once we have reviewed that, we will submit it to the university. Okay, so it says here China Admissions doesn't mention the official websites or different institutions. So when it comes to that, we find our information from the official websites, and for many of these universities, they are partner universities with us. So we have a partnership agreement, so we get all the information from them as well. The reason why China Admissions exists today is because a lot of the websites for different universities are not exactly updated to the highest degree. Some of them are really good, but for a lot of students, they are struggling to get the correct information. and maybe the websites are not given in English either, or their websites are not working properly. So we tend to talk to the universities through email, WeChat, and then be able to sort out the issues, get the latest information, and we put it on our website as well. If you ever feel like there's a discrepancy between the university website and our website, you can always contact us to see where the issue is. We can contact the teachers and see if it's maybe an issue of the website being outdated, their website being outdated, or maybe they've updated it and we need to update ours. So just let us know. Okay, so Dipendra has asked if there are any online Chinese courses in China. So yes, there are. You can do the BLCU Chinese course, which is online. Just keep in mind that an online course does not provide any visa documentation, so it's just an online course. Any online course, it's not going to offer any visa paperwork for going to China. It's purely for students that are just doing this part-time and doing this online from their home country. Great. So that seems to be it for today. So if you have any further questions, please just leave them down below in the comments. We can get to them, or check out our other live streams that we've done. We've covered a wide range of topics. So we've probably covered the topic that you have a question about. Thank you guys so much for joining, and we'll see you guys in the next live stream.